So no matter what I think about this movie, I'm pretty sure that we can all agree that the dumpster battle is hands down the best title of the year so far. I mean, I hear that title, I want to go see that movie. And sadly, no, they don't fight in a dumpster. That's the name of the volleyball game they're playing.
This is the gayest thing that I've ever seen.
It's pretty gay.
In my life. Besides seeing another man suck another man's dick. This is the gayest thing that I've seen ever right here.
Besides gay porn.
Besides gay porn, and I knew a gay porn star at one time.
HAIKYU the Dumpster Battle is based off the popular anime series of the same name, and the movie follows the Karasuno High School volleyball team as our lead Shoyo finds out that he must team up with his middle school nemesis Tobio in a tournament known as the Dumpster Battle. At least, that's the closest this movie has to a plot, and we'll get more into that in a minute. And I should probably get this out of the way right off the bat. I have never seen a single episode of this anime. I'm aware of its existence, I know it's got a fan base, and despite never seeing it, I have learned a lot about it from some friends of mine in the last few weeks. I've heard it's actually really good, I've heard that it can get intense with some of the volleyball games, but most importantly, the thing I've heard about the most is that it's gay as hell. Now that's not me bashing the show in any way, it's just anytime anyone has told me about this show, that is what I've heard the most from them. And to be honest, I got the trailer for this in front of Spy X Family Code White, and when Blondie looked at the orange-haired kid, he just gave him a look, and I was like, what was that look, dude? And the more and more people told me about the gay overtones in this show, the more and more I got excited to check out this movie. Hell, it even got to the point where I was just like, fuck Furiosa! This is my most anticipated movie for May. I've heard so many goddamn things about this anime, from the fact that our main lead is what is called a short king, which I had to get someone to explain to me what the hell that was, and the more exclamation points in your title of your sports anime specifically, the gayer it is. And the title of this movie has 2. Also, the villain in the series, who I'm guessing is not in this movie, from the picture I saw of him, the villain in the show is apparently the worst of the worst when it comes to the villains of My Hero Academia. I don't know, somebody just told me that and I thought it was the funniest goddamn thing. And if that thing with the exclamation points is true, then let me tell you, there is a scene where someone receives a text from somebody and there is a fuck ton of exclamation points. God, this movie's gonna have to make me apologize to these 2 sons of bitches. And then look at this poster. Doesn't it look like these 2 motherfuckers are about to kiss? Well, when you zoom out, holy shit! That got intense. Not even kidding, that shot's in the actual freaking movie. Now, most of what I just mentioned apparently is in the show. Does that translate well into the movie? Yes it does. Holy shit, this thing is gay as fuck. Now, it's not me being homophobic in any way whatsoever, it's just, look at it, come on! From the moment that Blondie shows up and he interacts with Shoyo, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be exactly what I paid to see. Every moment this guy is thinking about Shoyo, he constantly gives him those fuck me eyes. There's even one bit where he imagines everyone as Shoyo. Shoyo these nuts. It's like, get a room, you two, Jesus Christ! Okay, now that I've gone on long enough about the gay overtones in this series, how is the rest of the movie in general? Especially since I'm a newbie to this series. Well, I knew going in that it was gonna be about volleyball, and that's what I got, from beginning to end. I wasn't expecting the whole movie to be about volleyball! Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems with the movie. If you're a fan of this series and get very much into the game of volleyball, and you have a connection with these characters, then you're gonna enjoy the heck out of this. If you're not a fan of this series, and don't get that much into sports, and have no connection with these characters, it can be enjoyable for a minute, but then after a while, it almost becomes a bottle film where we're in the same location for the entire runtime, besides some flashbacks, and it can get a little boring. It's kind of like if you took someone like Rocky, and the entire runtime was the fight between him and Apollo Creed. It's like, okay, it's entertaining for a while, but then after a while, it does get a little old. But also, that's just me in sports in general, except usually I get into sports movies because you're just put into the middle of the action, but I don't know why, it just didn't work here for me. Maybe because it's animated? I don't know. Now look, I know that since I'm going into a movie based off an already established series, that there's a very unlikely chance that they're going to introduce any of the characters, and I'm okay with that, as long as there's a character that I get to know a little bit, or maybe I get some enjoyment out of. But here, they give you no time to get to know these characters or what they're like, so I really had no connection with them or didn't care about a single one of them. It also doesn't help that besides Blondie and the orange-haired kid, none of the characters really stood out design-wise. And I know that I've never seen the show that this is based on, but if it's exactly like the show, then this really isn't any different from what you get in the show, and because of that, I don't see any reason for this to be theatrical. I mean, the movie is shot very well and the animation is really good, but if it's the exact same with nothing changed, I don't get why you wouldn't just wait to watch this on Crunchyroll. Aside from the cinematography and the animation, the only other things I can say about it is that it was short, only having a runtime of 85 minutes, and it did fly by, and I of course got some laughs from all the gay overtones throughout. Now somebody can correct me on this. I saw the dub version of this movie, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time the series has ever been dubbed. I don't know, because I looked at every season of the series on both Netflix and Crunchyroll, and it all seemed to be subtitled, but in my opinion, the dubbing was pretty good. But if this is the first time that the series has ever been dubbed, then that might take a while to get used to if you are going to watch the dub version, especially if you watch the entire series subtitled from beginning to end. But to be honest, with all the gay overtones in this series, I would love to see it get its own Ghost Stories dub, just where they don't give a fuck about how it's dubbed, and they all sound like the characters from South Park. So my recommendation for this movie is that if you're a fan of the series, you should definitely check this out, but I honestly don't think it's one you need to rush out and see immediately. Unless you're like dying to see it, because Crunchyroll takes fucking forever to release their stuff on Blu-ray or their streaming service. I guess I'm glad that I gave it a shot and that there were elements that I did enjoy, but it didn't really get me to want to watch the series. And despite whether or not you enjoy this review, I'm probably not the best source on whether or not this movie's good or not. But I will say, I'd rather watch 85 minutes of a volleyball game over 2 hours of boring ass exposition like that reincarnated slime movie. I'm gonna give HAIKYU the dumpster battle a B-, and that's mostly because I haven't seen the series that this is based off of, and of course there's a lot of quote-unquote lore that I don't know about, so I don't know how great of a representation this is to the show or not. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell, and I'll be back later with more reviews. See you then.